Hey everybody, Trapper Dan here at Trapper SNORR. SNORR stands for Sustainable, Natural, Organic, and Renewable Resource. And we are all about sharing the benefits of fur trapping with the world here on YouTube or Facebook or Rumble or wherever people want to see it. And those benefits are like, the healthy lifestyle of trappers to the benefits to wildlife itself, its habitat, and where those animals live and breed and how they survive, and the science of wildlife conservation. Nobody loves animals more than trappers, really. And then um, my name is Trapper Dan, and I am a content creator. If you haven't seen the channel Trapper Snore before, I do things like following my own trapline adventures. I do a thing called Fur Education, where I go into other trappers' fur sheds and interview them. Sometimes I get to conventions, and then we do shows like tonight, live shows. If you want to see more about me or Trapper Snore, you can always go to trappersnore.com. And over there, there's links to actually I break out all the videos. And there's also, it's my Amazon affiliate store. So things that I use are there, and calendar and so forth, stuff like that. So without further ado, tonight we have a special guest. And he has been trapping for 45 years. In fact, he told me a cool story. When he was 12 years old, he used to ride his bike to the tavern to meet the old time trappers. I guess they were, quenching some thirst after a long day on the line. And he would peek in the back of their trucks and see what they have. And they'd buy him a soda pop. And eventually, one of those trappers actually gave him a trap line. So that was like the start of his adventure. And in high school, he caught a few canine, and then he was hooked forever. 2 years ago, he became an ambassador for North American Trapper, and he's a content creator like me, with a real nice community. If anybody follows Mark J. Larson online, he's a heck of a nice guy. Welcome to the stage there, Mark.
Good to meet you guys.
I'll give you some applause.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good
So,
beer.
yeah.
Very happy to be here. Thanks for asking me, Dan.
Oh, you're welcome. And I have to say, first of all, to everyone out there, that we are so sorry about the schedule mix up. So, what happened was Mark and I talked last week, and we thought about his trappers following out in the Midwest and the West, and we figured we'd push the show back, and we did that on everything from the little teasers and the things that went out like thumbnails. But inside this software, it was still scheduled for 6 o'clock Eastern time. So I'm sorry to the few people who came in and were like, where is everybody? Where's Mark? So we're here. What have you been up to today, Mark?
Oh, I had work all day, but no trapping right now. Probably Saturday. Today's Thursday, so it was like 60 degrees here today. I mean, we had a huge blizzard on the beginning of the week, and I pulled all my traps last Saturday. So because Friday it was like 60 mile an hour wind. So
yeah, you guys.
I caught an otter that day, but
oh my gosh,
I was gonna pull him that day, but I didn't want to do it in the wind. So Saturday pulled the traps, waited out this storm. Gonna be 70 tomorrow, and Saturday I'm gonna start. I got like another week and a half of beaver trapping and otter trapping. So,
oh, that's awesome. Yeah, same for us. When does your date end?
March 31st.
Okay, yeah, we end on the 7th of April for water trapping, but I personally have schedule conflicts, so I'll be pulling about the 28th too. So, hello to everybody. Good evening from New York, Daniel Maston. Hey, good to see you. And we have Empty Pockets trapping and hunting and stuff with J&J and Coons RGR8. Great to see everybody. Thanks so much for coming by.
Hello, everybody. I can't see the chat right now. I'm going to try to pull it up right now. But
all righty.
I just want
if
to
you guys
hello.
Have any questions for myself or Mark, feel free to put them up there. We're going to talk a little bit about what we've been doing and, what's going on with trapping now. Obviously, it's big time water trapping time. So, like you said, you were out there before the storm. I see you were trapping on some farms for some beaver.
Yeah,
Is that a bit of nuisance control and fur harvest at the same time?
it's both, but I mean, I'm on all private ground. We don't really have hardly any public ground here. Usually the farmers call me and want me to get
Nice.
the beavers out because they're flooding their fields and everything like that. But I do it. Some of them want to pay me. Some of them pretty much don't. But that's why they call me, because there
Yeah.
is nuisance trappers that are licensed to be able to be paid. I'm not licensed yet. I think I'm going to go
Yeah.
after that this year. But
Yeah, me too. I started studying for that. It's a good thing to have. Hey, Trapper Joel's in the house. Hey, Trapper Joel, good to see you.
I got to try to.
Like I saw Gary there too. Hey, Gary, nice to see you. Gary's heading to New York next week to go trapping. Cool.
Nice.
Thursday. So, those farmers, do they have? If you weren't taking those beaver out, do they actually have some flooding problems and stuff?
Oh yeah. I mean, some of
Yeah.
them they're they lost their whole fields. A few of them lost their whole fields. I mean, they had a whole field of corn just completely submerged in water, and
Oh
until
my
I got in
gosh.
there, and they lost a whole crop the one year, and I got in there, and this was 2 years ago, and I think I took over 13 beavers out of that one creek,
Wow. Wow.
and finally got them to where they've had two good crops 2 years in a row. And I told them it's such a nice spot. They're going to come back. I mean,
Yeah, they got established. Yeah, but as they start seeding off from other colonies, they'll be like, "Hey, how come nobody lives here? This is perfect."
yeah, almost every place that I trap beavers, um, yeah, it's gonna. I tell every farmer, I said it's not gonna be next year, but probably in 2 years, 3 years, they'll be back, because if it's that good a place, yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna
Yeah.
come from the river. They usually come up the rivers and into these small drainage ditches, and they find a good spot. And if there's willows and there's everything like that, then
Yeah.
yeah, it's on.
Yeah, but the good thing is that you're on them now, and hopefully you can just you're basically you've got a harvest spot where you can get them before they do damage for the farmer. So that's pretty cool. Hey,
Right.
the Greg Tierney's here. Hello, Greg, and the thing is going pretty fast. Howdy from Wyoming, Delansburg, and 50 Trapper, Kansas Trapper says, "Hey, Mark," and hunting and stuff. Oh, I said that. All right. Cool. Good to see everybody. Thanks for coming by. So,
Sorry. I think my
no,
audio was kind of screwed up.
oh, okay. When you beaver trap, are you mostly using body gripping? Or are you doing footholds? I mean, I watch you, but what do you like to do?
Both.
Yeah.
But I mean, I started out doing mostly foot traps, but on drowning rods and stuff. But then now I'm starting to get more into the body gripping traps, and this year I just started using snares. In Illinois, that's the only thing we can use snares for is beaver. The hoops
Yeah.
got to be at least half submerged. So, um,
Same thing here in New York. It's the only. It's not. We use cable restraints, but you have to be a licensed nuisance control trapper to use them for beaver. I think Joel, who's watching, he has them. I don't think he uses them too much, but probably in those extreme conditions. But you can actually use snares for the beaver.
yeah, but they have to have a deer stop. It can't go any smaller than 2 inch. Can't be more than a 10-inch loop. Um, and like I said, it's got to be at least half submerged. We can't snare anything else. We can't snare anything on dry ground.
Yeah, gotcha. They're trying to pass a cable restraint law for New York. It's been several years now, so that we could actually use them for canines and dry land. So it's getting close, but
I
I don't
wish they
know.
would do it here for Illinois. I mean, Missouri, just across the border, they have cable restraints. Iowa can use snares. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. So, how did you get the otter?
That was on a drowning rod actually, on a caster mount set.
Interesting. Yeah. I was at a spot for the
Most
last
people
couple
don't know
weeks.
that yet, but that's
Oh
all right.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's yeah. Well, us content creators, we're always, what's out there in the public is always like from a week ago.
Right, right.
That's what happens, it
It'll be
takes
out
time.
Monday.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking about that, you're a content creator like me. I've had, different people on the channel that are content creators or are not. But I was like, man, I got to get Mark J. Larson on because first of all, you are the most visible guy out there. If anybody here goes to any other trapping channels and looks at the comments, you're like a comment machine. I mean,
I watch a
it's
lot of
amazing.
people.
I can't even find any trapping channel that you haven't sort of commented on and been a friend of. So hats off to you for doing that. That's super. It's helpful to all those channels, and you're genuine, and you don't just put a random comment. You actually talk about what's in the video.
Yeah,
So
I mean, especially I've been there, and you've been there when we first started out, and you know how hard it is to get started, and that's all it takes, I mean, if I see a new trapping channel or even trapping channels that are older, older than mine, even, I mean, if I see something I like, I watch it, and
yep.
I try to help support the starting channels, and try to share them out and try to get them noticed a little bit, and I would hope somebody would do that for me back when I first started, and it's just trying to pay it forward.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because a lot of people don't think about how the more positive trapping content that we get out there, the better it is for trapping in general. And you were actually telling me that you really learned a lot from YouTube at one point. Like you caught a few canine and then you just like went to YouTube University. Tell us about that.
Well, I mean, like I said, I started trapping when I was really young, and then I up through high school pretty much, and then I kind of got out of it. I mean, once I got out of high school, I raising a family and working, and I mean, I couldn't, I didn't have the time, and then
Yep.
I started I
By the way,
started watching.
not to interrupt you, but Greg Sanders just said it's so hard to work full-time job and trap, but you do a good job at it.
I appreciate that. I'm trying to see where the chat is, private chat or start chat. Oh, okay, here it is. See,
Yep.
I can see the chat on my channel, but I can't see it on yours.
Oh, gotcha. So
But
you started working and then you didn't have time for trapping and then you got back into it.
right, and then like I said, I didn't even know anything really about YouTube at all, and I started watching, and it was actually I think Trapper J,
Yep.
and
He's got a huge channel.
right, and me and him became friends, and it was like I get off work, and every day I just watched to see what he caught. It was basically a day behind was what he was showing, and I learned so much by watching him catch coyotes and what he was doing and with bait and lure and the different sets, and then I met Jeff Dunlap, and I met all these people going to these conventions and rendezvous and stuff, and they really helped me out, and then I just started doing what they were doing, and then I started watching so many different trapping channels how they did what they were doing, and then I came up with my own system and made it my own, and I
Yeah.
mean, you ask 10 trappers what they were going to do, like for like a pan cover or polyfill, you ask 10 trappers, coyote trappers, you're going to get 10 different answers, and I just essentially weeded out what wasn't working for me and what did work the best for me, and
Yeah.
what lures and baits and locations, and finally made my own system, and it started to work.
Nice. Yeah, that's a really important point though for viewers or anybody here who's newer to trapping is that you have to be careful with YouTube University. You can, learn some bad things, or, get some content that's not exactly right, but you really have to balance it like you did, and, take some of those techniques and put them out in the real world, and see what works for you. But don't forget about paying attention paying attention to the details and the animals and nature, and uh what your successes are, learn from your mistakes, stuff like that. I
Right.
saw in the chat again, we had another interesting one. Coons is actually a hunter and fisherman, but turned farming for their own food, learning more about trapping for protecting their own animals. That's cool. Like, you know, yeah.
Coyote whacker is in here.
Coyote Whacker's in here. I didn't see
Yeah, he said
Coyote
I
Whacker.
turned into a trapping beaver machine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're figuring it out and getting there was one there I was watching, you were in this beaver was like coming out of this bank. I think it swam out right when you
Oh
were
yeah,
there one day.
I
And then
still haven't caught that one. I'm gonna get that
that
one this week.
that is hard, man, because it seems like it's a trap shy one, right?
It is, and I started trapping that property like 3 years ago, and it was trapped before that because I found a lot of the other trapper that land changed hands, and I don't know who was trapping it or how they were doing it, or
Oh,
but I
gotcha.
found like 5 330s, all rusted to hell in the
Oh,
mud.
really? They left them
Yeah,
out there.
so and I was in there and I caught some beaver out of there the last 2 3 years, and I knew there was that one. It's a big female, I guarantee it. And I knew I missed her last year. I tried right up until the last day, and I missed her. And she's not going to come to a caster mound. I'm going to try to get
Yeah,
in there this weekend and set up some snares and some blind sets, and I'm going to try to get
yeah,
her. I know that's the only one that's in there, but it's just I had to get out of there for a while because the ice, and I had other spots I needed to get to, you know, and it
right.
just wasn't worth my time to drive there to try to catch one beaver.
I
And I know
hear you.
I'll get her this week. I'm hoping
I
I'll get
hear
her
you.
this week.
Yeah, you have to prioritize, right? And
Right.
just like, all right, we got to move on. We'll let this one cook a little, and we'll be back because
And
she's
I have
gonna.
to say, I have to say one thing. I don't know if Dan Davis is in here or not. He's from Mississippi. That guy is the reason I am such a good beaver trapper. I mean, I am very good friends with Dan Davis. I don't know if you know him or not.
No, I
Judith
don't
and
know.
Dan Davis is the name of his channel. He just lost his wife
Oh,
this year.
oh, I
Very,
know.
very,
Paul Anzac uses their predator lure. Yeah,
yeah. Well,
yep,
it's his Alpha Delta beaver caster
yeah.
that he uses for the predator lure. But
Got you. Yep,
Dan Davis is a great guy. He sent me his Alpha Delta. I bought some, and I caught 43 beavers the first year using his lure. And I mean, I did do. Uh, I mean, I did a lot of work, but actually, I'm wrong on that. The second year I caught 43. The first year I caught 12, but
yeah,
I ran out of his lure with just a small amount of traps that I was trapping. And
yeah.
he's such a nice guy. He called me and he goes, "Hey," he's seen on one of my videos that I ran out of his lure. He goes, "I can overnight you a jar." I said, "I got 3 days of season left, Dan. Don't worry about it." I mean, that's how nice a guy that
That's
Dan
awesome.
Davis is. And I owe a lot to him. I'll tell you.
Joel is in the chat, and he's a big beaver trapper. And sorry, I brought him up a couple times because Joel's my neighbor, and he's taught me a lot too. Him and I taught the Trapper SNORR class here in Red Hook this year, and he always says that one of the hardest animals to catch is a scorned female beaver.
He's very
um,
right.
yep, they're hard to get, and we're running out of time for the real smart ones. Though we just week and a
Yeah,
half left.
that's
I'm in
like
a spot with the same situation where I've got some trap shy beavers, and I've been in there 3 days right now, and I thought I might be able to get them, on the first day, be kind of sneak in, but they already know, so I don't know what I'm gonna do.
that's what was nice. I mean, the video I put out Monday, I got into that spot, and I wasn't sure. I thought it was just a pair in there, but I caught the male first, then I caught that big female the second day in the same trap, and I cut her open. She was pregnant, had six babies in her, so, and I knew by then, nothing else was being touched. I knew it was just that pair, but to get her, that's you're definitely right. That's the one you need to get out.
Yeah. I
The
mean,
rest
I
of them
know
aren't that smart.
some tricks that work good. One is, and it's hard to believe this, but is to I call it going into coyote mode for beavers, like really, really blending everything and also not showing up at the set, doing something at the set so that it triggers and from a distance you can see if something's disturbed. Otherwise, don't go. Just check from a distance, and
Right.
and let it sort of cook for a while, because even your scent, just like with a canine, that real smart one might be like, nope, something's
I
going
think
on over
that's
there, I
kind of
don't
what
like.
screwed me on that big female at that pond, because I was sitting there videoing it and taping it, and I had the 330 on the H stand ready to throw it in front of that lodge, or that bank den coming out of that lodge. And while I was taping it and while I was talking, she come shooting out of there. If I would have
Yeah.
not been videoing that and just threw that 330 down there, I'd probably had her.
Yeah. That's one thing we can't do in New York. We can't trap on a lodge. We have to be 15 feet away, and we can't trap on a dam. We can when it's open otter season, but not when it's not open otter season.
Our otter season runs in the same time as our beaver season, but
Yeah,
yeah.
good for you guys. Yeah, ours stops early. At one point they were trying to help the population out, so they cut the season off. So we have to offset our triggers and leave an 8-inch gap, and our triggers have to be cut to 6.5 inches, I think.
Yeah, I
Um,
think I've heard of that.
yeah, it's kind of rough because you're like, I don't know how many otters it saves, but maybe it does.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm glad ours runs the same time. I mean, and I don't know why our muskrat season doesn't run the same time as our beaver, because you catch catches, you catch muskrats. If you're
oh
trapping
yeah,
beavers, you're gonna catch a muskrat or two here and there, but
yeah,
or otters, like I just did last week, caught an otter. I mean, but at least our season's still open.
but your muskrat season's closed, huh?
It closes February 15th with our coyote and raccoon, and
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
it makes no sense.
And that's probably because of the muskrat population being down so much out there.
We got plenty of them. Most places
Really?
we get,
Okay.
yeah, we got plenty of muskrats.
Huh.
But I mean,
I
what's the
won't-
difference if it's open or if
Yeah.
it's closed? A friend of mine at work talked to a game warden the other day, and he said, "If you catch any muskrats, call me. They're worth $1,
Yeah.
basically." And he said, "I'll come
Yeah.
check it and I'll let you keep it." Well, so that's what our tax dollars are paying for that game warden to drive over and say, "Yeah, that's a muskrat. You can
Yeah.
keep it." I mean, he's already
Yeah.
killed it, so it's done. I mean, it's over.
Yeah. Yeah. I got this otter here last week too, out of season, and I texted my ECO. He didn't get back to me right away, so I had to leave it where it was, But then later he says, "Yeah, go get it. You can." I talked to the wildlife biologist. They want you to harvest it. So I'm like, "Cool, okay." It was like 10 days after the season ended, and yeah, then a bunch of people were commenting and saying, just like we should just have these seasons matched up because it's
Right.
just
I mean,
inevitable.
I get it with some of the other seasons. I mean, like raccoon or whatever, coyote in Illinois, you can hunt them year round, but trapping season is November 10th through February 15th, which whatever,
Gotcha.
it is what it is, and that's fine. But beaver is November 10th through March 31st. So is otter. Why not just let the muskrat season go to that? I mean, so if you catch a
Yeah.
muskrat, I mean, it is what it is. You're going to catch it.
Yeah.
It's going to be dead. If it's in a 330, it's dead.
Yeah. Yeah, we have for predator hunting here, just the coyote extends into March, so we're still coyote hunting until the end of this month, but there's no coyote trapping. That ended on the February 15th date, I believe. Should make sure I didn't get those mixed up. But yeah, it's interesting. So it's all starting to, come down to the end. But let's go back and talk about your predator trapping. How did it go this year out on those
It wasn't that
farms?
good. It wasn't great. I mean, I think I caught 9 coyotes. I mean, our weather was just terrible, and it's still terrible. I mean, it's just from the we were in a severe drought all summer long, and then as soon as
We'll
trapping
get to
season
your
opened,
question there, Monica. We'll get to your question after Mark talks about his season here. She has a good
okay,
question about. Yep.
I missed the first season or first week of our season here because I was in Montana elk hunting. But then as soon as I get home, nothing but it started snowing. Then it would rain. Then it would
Yeah.
freeze. Then it would warm up. It would rain some more. Then it would get cold. It would snow some more. It was the
Like
absolute worst weather I've ever seen this year. And that's
crazy adjusting.
not just
Yeah.
me. I know you had the same thing. I mean,
Yeah, you don't even you're not just checking traps every day, but every trap is getting
just
readjusted or
maintaining. You know, what I mean,
doubled
just trying to
off or yeah.
maintain and trying to get to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, it was yeah, sometimes you had like maybe a 2-day check where things were working for you, but man, it wasn't
It was
never
terrible.
never
It was
more
the worst
than
season I've ever had.
3 days, yeah.
And
And
this
so
beaver
much
season, same
snow.
way.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
this is the
I know.
latest that the ice has gone off of the ponds and the creeks I've ever seen. You know, to where I could get after beavers.
Yeah, I know. We had I live on a pond here and it's the first year this pond has just been frozen over. I mean, there's still a little bit of ice on it today, and it's just amazing how much the snow and ice stuck around. So Monica's question was about trappers or you and I if we ever caught any pets. And I would say that most trappers out there have probably caught someone's dog, especially if you're on a farm or around where they are. I've caught probably like 6 or 8 dogs. Um, every one in my case was released by the farmer or the pet owner. Um, so that worked out for me that they were basically there. How about you?
Um, I mean, I've caught feral cats, wild dogs. I did catch my one good friend's dog that I was trapping his property, but he had a coon hound that he thought he could keep in the yard, and he had like 3 shot collars on it with an electric fence around his yard. And he come out the one day and he couldn't find his dog, and he said he seen it up at the end of the hedgerow, just sitting there. So he knew. I mean, it shouldn't have been out of the yard. He said it wasn't my fault. He went up there and let it out of the trap. I mean, it didn't hurt it. It was a big ass
Yeah.
dog, but
Yeah, so for the most part, Monica, we're using a hold trap. It's a leg hold, so the dog might have a little bit of a sore paw. But I caught my own dog. I was I was water trapping with Willie, and he doesn't ever go in the water. And I was on my friend's farm last season, and I was setting these muskrat runs with some 1.5s. And then, I just left this one spot and Willie was on the bank like usual. And then I turn around and he's like, yipe, yipe, yipe. And I'm, oh, geez. I go over there and he snapped right into one.
what
So
size
I
trap
just,
was it?
my friend held him and I took the trap off and he limped for a little while and he was fine by evening. It was a little bit of drama, but, you know,
What size
uh,
trap was that?
it was a 1.5 and
Oh,
Willie's a little dog,
yeah,
so
I know Willie's a little dog, but I mean, at least it
yeah,
wasn't like a big number 3 or 5 or something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah. And 2 of the dogs that I caught were on farms that had asked me to trap, and I told them specifically where the traps were. I gave them a map, and said, I'll trap here and help you out, but just keep your pets away from this area. And both of them, um, were they were like, "Oh my God, I forgot. I'm sorry, I forgot." And they were like, "It's totally my fault." One was on like the first night. The first night he put the traps out, his dog was in it. But
Yeah,
yeah.
it happens. I mean, and like you said, with the equipment that we use, they're usually unharmed. So
Oh, there's a good one. Greg Greg Sanders says he caught a dog and he was fine, and then he went to the passenger side of my truck and waited for me to open the door. That's I interviewed the Soul brothers, and that's what Bob said. He was like, "Yeah, I caught this dog, and by the time I got him out of the trap, he kept following me down the trap line." I was like, you go that way, I'm going this way.
Right.
So yeah, it does. Body gripping trap is another problem, and that's why, in case you didn't know, Monica, in most states we have laws that don't allow a trap that big, so we're not in danger of catching someone's dog. When I
Right.
took my trapping class years ago, my instructor told a story of before we had regulations. And sometimes this can be the case. Trappers can be their own worst enemy. By sometimes you have to go beyond the law to do a better job and stay away from the public. And a trapper set a body gripping trap on a garbage can in a park. He was coon trapping, and then I think it was some politician's wife was walking her poodle, and that dog got killed by that trap.
Oh no.
Oh, so I mean
Did he
that.
even have a license? A trapping license?
Yeah, I don't even know the rest of the story, but there it is. Sometimes trappers can be their own worst enemy.
Oh yeah, that's just
True
terrible
true
to do
story.
something.
In a wilderness management area right here near me. A I got a I was trapping in there a lot. It's public land, and my ECO calls me, or the forester knew me well because he used to see me in there a lot. So at the time, my ECO didn't know me, but he passed my name on to the ECO, and he called me and he said, "Hey, we got a coyote in a trap down in the bays. Are you trapping down in there?" And at the time, I wasn't, but I usually am. So I was like, "No, I'm not trapping in there now." So, "Oh, okay." So later that year, I met that same ECO, and he came here to my fur shed to seal my furs, and it happened to be a coyote killed in a 330 conibear on a public hiking trail. Are you kidding me? Like, so, and they actually caught the guy who did it, and he did have a trapping license. So come on. I mean, talk about making it bad for trappers, not
Yeah.
good.
When I just talked about Dan Davis, I just seen he just showed up in the chat.
Hey, Dan. Well, it's nice to have you here. And Mark really said you're a great guy. And his story of you wanting to overnight some lure to him just to get those beavers with 3 days of season left is pretty cool. That's awesome. And
Dan's a great.
actually, I see that Paul Anzac uses his lure too and really
There's
swears
a
by
lot of
it.
people that use it, but um,
Yeah.
like I said, if you want to get some of his Alpha Delta lure, contact him. I mean, it's the best beaver lure out there. I guarantee you that.
That's awesome. I have to give a shout out to Bearded Man Beaver Lure though. That's been really good for me. I really do. I really do like it. Mike met him at the convention, and
It's
I'm
because you
using.
haven't used Alpha Delta yet.
Oh, okay.
And I work for North American Trapper, and I'm still saying that Dan's lure is the best. So
Yeah, yeah. So tell us about that. You're an ambassador. What does that entail? Being an ambassador
I
for
mean,
North American Trapper.
I promote the products, and
Got you.
he Alan takes really good care of me, and I have to go to like a lot of the big shows like the NTA, and I just got back in February. I had to run the show down there in Nashville for the NWTF, so because he had to be in
Okay.
Pennsylvania for the NRA convention, so
Oh, that's cool.
he can't be in two places at once. And I mean, like I said, he treats me very well, and I mean it's just a dream come true to be able to talk to people about trapping and get paid for it, and promote products that I believe in.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Get to go to the show. And I mean, that's a nice thing about off season too, is that, we all come from our trap lines and out in nature, and then we all can come back together and, meet at a place and talk about our adventures and what we learned that year and new products and all that. That's so cool.
Yeah, Dan just said in the chat on here he's got plenty on hand if anybody needs any.
That's
So
cool. I might have to look that up. Just got a little
um,
bit of time
I
left,
think
but
Monica's my moderator if she's still here. Can you put Dan's link in the chat for me, please?
yeah, on yours. Yep, cool. Yeah, we don't know. We were Mark was going to tell you. We're not sure if the chats are combined. So, just so everybody knows, we're on Trapper Snore right live right now, but we're also on Mark J. Larson's Outdoors live.
Right, I'm
Um,
looking at I'm looking at the chat on my channel right now.
got you. And they're yeah, I'm not sure exactly how that works or why it works separate like that, but there might be two chats going on. But we would take this opportunity to say if you're not a subscriber to myself or Mark J. Larson, we appreciate if you do. It means a whole lot to us content creators because it tells YouTube that we're doing a good job and that we're putting out stuff that people want to see. And if anybody watches us, you know that we both work really hard at it. In fact, what would you say, Mark, about your being a content creator and a trapper at the same time? How is that for you?
I mean, that's what I started. I mean, I love trapping, but that's how I mean, I love teaching too, and that's the whole reason I started doing my channel is because I like I said, I started watching Trapper Jay and I learned a lot from him, and then I watched a lot of these other channels, and I asked him, I'm like, how do I'm like, how do I start my channel? He goes, you already got one. He said, if you got a Google account, you already got a channel, and I'm like, all right. So then I just started posting videos, and that's how it started.
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to share what I'm doing, and like whenever I'm done, or gone, or I still go back and look at some of my other videos because I start forgetting what I'm doing, and I'm like, why isn't this working? And then I'll go back and look. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I was doing that before, so you
So
know,
one of the things you like is just archiving for yourself.
yeah,
Um,
and my friends and family get to see it. I mean,
yep.
because trapping, is a kind of a solitary sport. You're usually out there by yourself and everything. Unless somebody rides along with you, and that's not really mostly going to happen. So at least my friends and family can see what I'm actually doing out there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. One of the things I was going to say about being a content creator and a trapper at the same time is for the most part, you're doing two tasks. You're not just trapping. Like sometimes I actually put the camera down and just go trap for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then other times I'm thinking about both, trying to capture what I'm doing at the same time that I'm doing it. So it does take a little time, like if, to be like a numbers trapper or kind of like a machine trapper and watching all your motions and every second counts and getting hundreds of sets out. It's pretty hard to be a content creator and be that kind of trapper. Um,
Well, with the prices the way they are now, I mean, it's just I'm not that worried about the numbers. You know,
right. Yeah.
I'm just trying to share the specific points of what really matters, and share what works and that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, there. Trust me, I would catch a lot more if I wasn't videoing it. I mean, I
Yeah,
think,
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm not upset about it. Trust me, I love sharing it with everybody, and especially when I make special catches or something like that I have the camera and I can share that with everybody. I mean, that makes my day.
Yeah, I hear you. Totally. Yep. And it's about the lifestyle and it's about being out there every day and learning from the animals. And every catch is like a celebration. And by the way, what's your favorite trap set of any animal?
Well, a dirt hole for
Dirt hole?
coyotes, or a caster mount for beavers. I mean,
Yeah.
After this year, probably a crossover for beavers because man, I really crushed them on that one farm with just a crossover set.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites is catching things blind. You know,
Hmm.
that's like the coolest thing because you're able to figure out where they're going to be, where they're going to step, and you didn't use any bait or anything. You might have guided them a little bit. In some cases, you didn't even. That's
Right,
like catching mink on the edge of a bridge. It's like, man, that's so cool. Actually, that happened for me today. So
right.
got this nice buck mink here, and that was at a set in a culvert it was a 155 on a KB stand that had been there pretty much all season that I was trapping in there. And I was just like, something's eventually going to come through here. And today was one of those days. I don't know if we've all had these days where you check every trap and they're all empty. And it's kind of like gloomy out and it's like the end of the day. And I'm like, wait a minute, I have one more trap to check. And that last trap had the mink in it. I was like,
That
yes,
makes the day right there.
right? It's like, I thought, it was going to be a 0 for the day. And then I got that one. So that's so cool. So Timothy Snell says, "Love the show. Watch all your videos. I wish you guys would get a little bit more energy to trapping more videos." He's from the Adirondacks,
Well, we're getting
and
older.
yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, talk about working. I'm a working man too, so generally I'm up at 5 o'clock, and I'm at just before sunrise. I'm trying to load up and get out to the traps. I own a cafe, so I have to go in there and usually do some morning work, and
Yeah,
then head out on the trap line, and then I'm fielding business questions while I'm trapping, and then then I get back and do more work. And if I have skinning, it's in the evening. I mean, it's just like
I hear
just
you.
yeah, it's just Oh, you know what you were telling me the other day too? This is interesting too about cooking your meals. Tell us about your meals lately. You gave me a recipe. Actually have to look it up, but you told me about it.
For the beaver pot roast. I still got it
Yeah.
sitting here from when I showed it to you. Mississippi pot roast with beaver. I mean, man, it's awesome. I just ate it for lunch today at work with mashed potatoes. Oh man, there's nothing better.
So what's Mississippi pot roast?
Well, I can hold it up here, but I can read it. I mean, I
Oh,
just
that's cool.
put a couple like beaver legs in the crock pot. It's so simple. And I got this out of the Trapper's Post, which I showed you.
Yeah, it was
And
like July, August issue, right?
yeah, I mean, just cut up one onion, 4 cloves of garlic, which I just use bottled or jarred garlic,
Yeah.
one package of dry ranch seasoning, one package of au jus gravy, dry, one
Yep.
can of beef broth, one stick of butter. You cut it up in chunks, and then a
Wow, has all
16
that
ounce,
butter.
huh?
Yeah, it's good.
How could it
I'm
get any
listening.
better?
I'm a chef, so I'm making the recipe in my head as you're saying it. So,
I mean, butter's great.
oh,
Uh,
nothing is better than butter.
no, 3 B's. You got to have the 3 B's if you're cooking.
The
You know,
beaver, the butter, and the beer.
well, well, that's you're close. I mean, butter, beer, or bacon. But
Yeah, there you
in
go.
this case, we'll put beaver,
All right. And
and then
the bacon wouldn't hurt. Sorry, I
no,
interrupted your recipe. So let me just
no, you
call it
can put
back. You
bacon in
got
there.
onion, garlic, ranch seasoning packet, and then you got some beef broth.
Au jus gravy packet,
Yep.
beef
Yep.
broth, and then the butter, and then it says a 16-ounce jar of sliced banana peppers with the juice or chopped pepperoncinis.
Got you.
I've tried both of those. This last time I made it, I used a jar of jardiniere, mild jardiniere, and I think it was way better
Oh, okay.
with the
I'm gonna
jardiniere.
I'm gonna have to take that tip. That's awesome. And then you just crock pot it all day long.
Yeah, put it in the crock pot, go to work, come home, pull the bones out, and it's basically done. I mean, it's delicious.
And yeah, that's so you're using the hind quarters and the front quarters and just letting that meat cook right off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This
I'm
last time,
definitely.
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm lined up. I actually the last two beavers I caught, I was real careful to. Usually I hack them out and I'm maybe using a dirty knife and I put them in a bag and it's labeled Fisher bait. But these ones I put like clean beaver meat and I was real careful with them.
Yeah, I clean them up pretty good, and then I vacuum seal them. Usually a front leg and a front leg and a hind quarter together in one package, because the last batch I made, it was a small beaver, and I did both front legs and both hind legs, and I mean it just made way too much. I can only
Yeah.
eat it so long.
Yeah, I gotcha. Hey, everybody, you guys are just firing up the chat there, and that's so awesome that so many people are watching. I'm gonna just put up a little thing right there. It's a QR code. It's called "Buy a Trapper a Cup of Coffee." So, as we love doing this, there is some cost to it for the software to do these kind of things. So, if you want to give a tip or a donation, you just scan the code that's on the screen and it's like a $5 cup of coffee. In fact, Mark J. Larson gave me $20 at the last show. So thank you so much, man. That was like super nice. And
Gotta have your coffee,
yeah,
man.
yeah, I told Mark that I would share coffee with him through the internet here. So,
I see my friend Daniel Sturge, good friend of mine. He's from Newfoundland. Um,
oh,
he, he's
really? Cool.
he's the one that designed my logo.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very good guy. Very
How
good
did you meet
channel
him?
on YouTube. But
Oh, okay.
he's got a great channel. He's got a way better beard than mine, if you can believe that. I mean, he does. He's got a huge beard. He almost caught himself on fire, or his beard on fire, a
Oh
while
my
back in a
gosh.
couple of videos. But yeah, go check him out, Daniel Sturge. He's got a
Okay.
great channel.
That's awesome. Shout out to Daniel Sturge. Awesome. Yeah, a lot of people are making comments, and I had it up there, but I forgot who said it about the knife show that I did. Sometimes it may look like a boring caption in the thumbnail, like where it's, you might be like, Trapper Sharp Knives. I don't want to watch that. So in that episode for me, I went to see my good friend Richard, who owns Warren Kitchen and Cutlery. And man, Richard was like the best. And he took us through everything with knives. So if you have some time, I think it's a fun one to watch. It's not for me, just for you. Watch it and listen to Richard because it was fascinating. And he has this amazing knife store, which is right here in Rhinebeck, New York. And
Nice.
yeah, thank you for the comment on that one. So a lot of people cook their game, man. There's a lot of people talking about what they do with beaver. I was telling you I kept a bunch of my bobcat meat this year, so I was thinking I'm
Yeah,
going to make a chili with that.
that comment you just posted from Dan. Yeah, I did that. I did barbecue, sweet baby rays. That's all I did. I put it in the crock pot, went to work, come back, took it out, took the bones out, put sweet baby rays in it. It was the best barbecue I've ever had. And I
Hmm.
did a video of it. It's on my channel, actually, a couple
Oh,
years ago.
nice. Yep. Yeah, it's hard to have bad barbecue, and
Yeah.
you know, for the most part, as we know, some of the most healthy meats in the world are the natural ones. The venison and the beaver and the elk and the animals that are out there just living naturally and not getting injected and not getting hormones and antibiotics and so it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't tried the beaver yet, but I'm sorry, I haven't tried the bobcat yet, but I do look forward to trying that. See.
Bobcat's good. I think mountain lion is better. I mean,
Hmm.
mountain lion's very good. I've had mountain lion backstrap and shoulder. Very, very good.
Nice. So another thing that I heard from you um, is about you're doing some of your own tanning, huh?
Yeah.
Do you tan everything you catch, or
No,
select?
no. I mean, I sell most of what I catch, but I mean, most of the stuff behind me, I tan that is mine back here. But um, I got hides from everywhere in the country back here. But No, I do quite a bit of my own tanning. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And how do you do it?
Well, it's not brain tanning, I'll tell you that. But that I would love to get into that because I think it is so fascinating to me. But I mean, I use products that I buy. You know,
Yeah.
I can't think of the name of the.
New Tan. I think New Tan is one
No,
of the
it's
popular
True
ones.
Bond 1000B. I think is
Uh-huh.
what I get. I get it from Matuska Taxidermy out of. I think they're out of Iowa or Nebraska. Um, I mean, yeah, I buy all the stuff that I use. I
Yeah.
started out using the orange bottle stuff that home
Yeah, the new.
tanning.
Yep.
It's just it'll work, but there's better stuff out there. If you, I mean,
Gotcha.
and there's a lot of good channels out there. If you watch them, I mean, you can do it good. You know, a good job. I mean, the biggest
Yeah.
thing is getting the pH right. Keep them in a pickle. You know, and then the fleshing's the main deal. And
Yep.
if you get them fleshed right and you get them in a pickle and keep the pH the right, under two or 1.5,
Gotcha.
and get them thinned out enough. I mean, you can do a really good job, and compared to what I used to do.
Yeah. And then did you have garments made or their wall hangers or is there
Yeah,
some behind you that
mine are all wall hangers, or
Yep.
I've done a lot of beavers and hoops for people. I've done badger rugs for people and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't do garments.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Yeah,
could
but
have garments made or something like that if they wanted to, but
that's cool that you went through the process though, you learned how to do it and do it, it's awesome. So you're getting a little comment there on your Montana wolf trapper gives your beard a run for your money. Mark's beard.
yeah, he might. Who said that?
Rick Grommers. I think it was Rick Grommers.
I don't even see that in my chat. That might be just in your chat.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. And Chasing Tails says that he uses the M. Kinsey products for tanning.
Mackenzie,
Or
yeah, they got good
yeah,
products, yeah,
yep,
for sure. Yeah, Hunt
yeah,
Ready. I know my buddy Hunt Ready there. He's here in Illinois. He's asking Flintlock if he's in Illinois yet.
yep.
Flintlock's not that far from me. He's like 30 miles from me.
Oh, gotcha. Yep.
Hunt
He
Ready's
said,
like maybe an hour, not even quite an hour from me. So
gotcha. Yeah. So what's everybody, actually, in a chat thing, you guys put, what was your biggest beaver of the year? What,
for me,
what was the biggest beaver for this year?
62 pounds
62. Awesome.
this year. The biggest one I've
Yeah.
ever caught, I think, was last year was 65 pounds. But yeah,
Yeah. The biggest I ever
62
got
this
was
year. And like I said, she was
64.
pregnant.
Oh yeah. Right. That adds a lot to it. My biggest was 64. I think it was like 4 years ago. But this year the biggest one I got was like 49. But it was more than that when it was wet, that's for sure. And I dried it
Yeah,
out and weighed it. It was like, oh, 49. Felt like it was like 55.
right. Yeah, Dan Davis, he just put 67.8 pounds was his biggest. And I remember that one. He sent me pictures of that too. And
Wow.
that's a big beaver, man.
Yeah, that's big. Yeah. Ron got a 64 pounder. He sent me a picture of that one. That's cool. And Chasing Tails up in Vermont, 66.2 pounds. Yep.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, Flintlock got a 77 pounder in 1999. That's that's a dinosaur, man.
he's a cool guy. He's a good friend of mine. He got his first bobcat 2 years ago here in Illinois. And it's hard to get a bobcat tag, and he sent
Oh
me
yeah.
pictures and everything. And yeah, he got a nice bobcat. It was like maybe the second one in that county, I believe. If you want to say something about that, Flintlock, but I think it was like only the second one ever trapped in that county or something.
Wow. Wow. And so do you guys have to do for Bobcat, do you have to do like a lottery?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you got to apply. and Illinois takes your money, and whether you get a tag or not. So, and then it's very hard to get a tag. I had one last year, and I did not catch a bobcat. I tried really hard, and then I get down there to Nashville and at the NWTF this year, and all these kids are, they're like 8, 10 years old. They're asking me, how do you catch bobcats? I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, well, I've only caught 1 or 2 or 3. I'm like, well, then why don't you teach me?
Huh?
Got these kids telling me they're catching bobcat. I'm like, well, you know more than I do then.
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean, I guess I feel really lucky because here on this side of New York, we don't have a bag limit and we can catch bobcats all season. So, by the way, Monica, thank you very much. Bought me a cup of coffee, so I'm gonna enjoy it.
Awesome. That's good.
Yeah, yeah,
She
we
lives
do.
here. She actually lives here. So
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. The
maybe she'll buy me a beer or something.
Yeah, get him a beer. The other side of the state, like where Coyote Whacker is, there's no bobcat season, or where Greg Tierney is, there's no bobcat season. So they're kind of sectioned off here. Um, but the Hudson Valley usually has about the highest or second highest bobcat take in New York State, and man, I think they're just doing really really good. I was just driving from a beaver place yesterday, and a bobcat ran across the street in front of me, and I was like, "Oh, there's another one." So, yeah, it's pretty nice. They're not the Western cat fur, but they're not the Texas cat fur either. I mean, they've got nice thick fur. They just don't have the bright bellies and distinct spots. But I got some right there behind me. But that one right there is a small. That's a it's not a kitten, but it was a 1 year old or something, and it actually got attacked by another cat while it was in the trap. And yeah, it was DOA and in a foothold, kind of a mess of a scene. And then I thought it looked fine, but then when I skinned it, actually, I'll grab that one.
Yeah, Flintlock just said it was the second one ever taken in Bureau County and along the Illinois River in a scent post set. It was pretty cool though. I mean, he emailed me pictures and stuff when he caught it, and I was like, yeah, he's a good dude. He's a really good dude.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome when you walk up onto a bobcat at a set. That's really cool.
He's another good friend that I met through YouTube. I would have never met him if it wasn't for YouTube, So
yeah, it's like you're ahead of me in that community thing, but I've also really appreciated getting to know you and Dead Pine Outdoors and Lou over at Coyote Whacker and Enos down at Bluegrass Trapper, and it's like we got a nice little community going here.
Yeah, I met Lou up in Pennsylvania. I went out there for the YouTube rendezvous that 1 year at I can't remember what channel it was now, but I met Lou out there, and very, very cool guy. And
yeah, Lou is really cool. Yeah, we had a good show, and
I've met so many people, just so many great friends. I would have never met Dan Davis. I mean, all these cool people that I met, and that are in my chat right now. Camo Cowboy, Daniel Sturge. I just seen Camo Cowboy came in here, so
yep.
I mean, just so many of these people that I feel like I know them, even if I haven't ever met them. I mean, they're just such close friends,
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, it goes to show that trapping is very alive, and us getting out here on YouTube is showing more about trapping to the world, and that's what we want to do. The biggest cat, a 31-pound Tom, Judith and Dave got. Yeah, believe it or not, I got a 42-pound Tom. Was my biggest bobcat ever.
That's a big one.
Man, I came up on that trap and I thought I was in an African safari because that thing was like, and actually it was the cat was on a drag system So I had a drag chain because there was a house close enough that they could see where the set was. So everything I catch there, I was trying to get dragged off into the brush.
Right.
And I was looking at the end where, the animals would normally be, and there was nothing there. So I started getting closer to the trap. And then this tomcat jumps like 10 feet in the air and takes the chain with it. And the reason why is because the drag chain froze into the ground. So
Yeah.
it only got us, halfway down, and it didn't go the rest of the way. So I was like shocked. You know how they hide. They hide really well. When you're coming up onto the set, they just until that last minute, and then they
No, I
jump.
don't.
Well, you will. You will.
I've tried hard to catch one, and I don't know what it's like to walk up on one yet.
Yeah, it'll happen. They're definitely once you might have to go to some place where they are, where more of them are, but it's
Yeah.
really fun to trap them. So they have to release cats there. Todd Dunlap says in Ohio, got 3 and 6 days, and then had to release them all. Wow, that's tough too because the cats are, they're
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't even know if I want to do that.
yeah, it's
I've seen some guys struggle trying to.
for the most part you have to, if you can, you have to try to get their leg in with the catch pole so that
Oh, right,
protects
right.
their neck because they do choke out real easy and you can damage them real easy. So if you get their leg in there with it, it's a lot better, and then you
And I've
can
seen guys do it with totes, throwing a tote over top of them and stuff like
yeah,
that. I
yeah.
just I don't know that it looks like it's and then I've seen guys where they get them released and they run up and run underneath their truck or their side by side or something, and then they have a hard time getting them out.
Yeah, usually they just sit there again. They sit there and they just stare because they don't know, they're out of the trap or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
And like you said, they run under the truck. Yeah, it's lots of some people do have to get going. We're probably going to get going soon too, but oh, thank you so much. Someone else just put another tip in. I don't want to go because I got plenty of caffeine and I'm having a great time here talking with Mark and all these trappers from around the country. I was wondering if we would get a lot of people on because I feel like, the season's slowing down, but everybody's still excited about it, and that's awesome.
Yeah, it's
It's
just hard. Everybody's busy too, I mean, like I said, the one live you did, I think it was with it might have been with Coyote Whacker. I was in Nashville, so there was no way I could get on there, and I was really sad that I missed that one.
Oh, he is so cool. Yeah. I call him the
Yeah.
slick trapper because he always has these slick ideas,
He's a
and
good driver.
he works that mountain at his house.
Hmm.
He really works it.
Yeah, he does.
And he went down to he could tell us, but I think he went down to Virginia right after our show. Virginia or West Virginia, I can't remember. And then I saw that he got a bobcat down there. That's cool. And he sold a bunch of furs down there. That's another thing, guys. If anybody wants to put up in the chat, how are you going about selling your furs? Because now's the time. I'm selling all mine probably in the next bunch this weekend, and then a little bit after that. But most of mine is going to garments for my own Trapper Snore garments. I'm going to have a bunch of stuff made, and then I'm going to have some stuff to sell that I caught. You know,
What I don't tan, or for whatever reason, I got friends that want some tanned or beavers in hoops and stuff like that. Usually, what I do sell, Grownwald Fur and Wool, their corporate headquarters is only 50 miles from my house. So
oh really? Wow.
yeah, so whenever the freezer gets full, I just drive up there and sell them.
You sell them right to Groenwald.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I went up there once this year, and that was the first time Gary was actually buying. He was in there.
Yep.
Usually Terry is the buyer that I have, and he's a good dude. And I walked in there and I said, "Terry around?" And they said, "No, Gary's here." I'm like, "Really? Gary's here, huh?" And so I
Yep.
sold right to Gary.
Yeah, we meet Gary at the truck here in Kingston, New York, and all the trappers usually come over from Connecticut because they don't go over there. So we get Connecticut and New York trappers, and they're gonna meet here again in this April something. I don't know the date. I can't remember, but a lot of guys do bring green beaver to them.
Mine are
For the
all green. Mine are all green and just froze.
Yep, yep. That's a that's a nice thing actually. If you're catching a bunch, especially at the end of the season, that you could just fold them in half and throw them in the freezer. And
Right.
for the
And,
most
and
part, go
they
ahead.
actually told me to do it because they're not going to give you that much extra for a finished beaver. I mean,
Right.
fleshed and dried, it's like a couple bucks, and I don't have the time to do it. So
Yeah, for the most part, they pay just about the same. Although the last couple of years, I feel like it was a little down, so I started drying mine. So this is
right, yeah, it's just
nice.
like you said, we both got full time jobs, and by the
Yeah,
time you get
exactly.
done working, checking traps, skinning, I don't have the time to be sitting there fleshing and hooping and boarding
Yeah,
furs.
I made the time this year because I really wanted to do it and I want to make stuff out of it. So it was kind of therapeutic for me. I was like, all right, I'm gonna stay up and I'm gonna get this done. So I think I got a
I mean, I get up at
uh
4 o'clock every morning, so I mean, it's just like it's not like the
yeah.
staying up. It's just the day's got to end sometime.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yep. You gotta prioritize and pick and choose, what you're gonna do. Speaking of that, this has been an awesome time and over here in New York, it's after 9 o'clock, I think. Yep, 9:07.
It's eight oh
And
seven here.
yeah, sorry again to everybody who came early. I had the scheduler and the software set at the wrong time, and the show went live on me without us. and but I was glad that we got you guys now. And yeah, thanks so much for commenting on our channels and subscribing. Means a lot. And there's other content creators here, so all those people that you mentioned and I mentioned, Coyote Whacker, and
Yeah, just great
yeah,
friends. I mean, great people. I mean, there's the community's full of great people.
yeah, check everybody out when you can, and it's great entertainment. And I have a good friend in Vermont. He actually inspired me to be a trapper because when I was in school, in high school, he would be going out trapping in the morning and stuff before school. He was a fox trapper and I think a muskrat trapper. But, anyways, he said he lives his trapping life vicariously through my channel now because he really can't trap or isn't doing it, but he likes to watch guys like you and me to kind of live it on the line. And that's a nice compliment, because that's part of why we do it, to allow people to experience
Yeah,
what it's like.
I get comments like that on some of my videos from older guys that say they can't do it no more, and they
Yep.
just enjoy watching somebody do it. And that makes me feel good.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we're going to be there
it,
someday, you know.
it's a fact, but I don't want to think about it.
Yep. Some people are saying so long there, you Mark, you're coming in all the way from Newfoundland.
Yeah, that's Kurt north of
Yeah,
51. He's I just watched his video today. He's a good guy.
awesome. And this was a good comment here. Gave all my hides to the Tanned Fur Project in Minnesota. They're tanned and then donated to schools for teaching and learning. I love that.
Who I didn't
That's
see that.
awesome. That's from Rick Grommers.
Hmm.
That's
I
pretty
don't.
cool.
It might be just on yours because I don't see it in my chat.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great idea
That
to
is awesome. I know a lot of other guys that do that too. Not a lot, but some other guys that do that. Um,
Awesome.
which is very cool. Some of them are teachers that actually donate their hides and to the to the school and have them tan, and then they actually take some of the students out on the trap line.
That's awesome.
And
There's nothing like,
you
yep.
had him on. You had him on here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's Dead Pine Outdoors. Yeah.
Dead Pine Outdoors. He does
Yep.
that.
Yep. Yeah. He's a phys ed teacher, and his administrator said to him, "Hey, what
Yeah.
about, taking him into some outdoor adventures?" He's like, "Really? You mean it?" And then he started doing it, and then
Right.
they just love it. So he takes the
Yeah.
kids out,
He's
Martin
got a good
trapping.
channel. I love watching him. He does a great job.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty awesome. That was a good show. Speaking of timing, that was a hard one because he's in British Columbia. So quite a big different time zone. But yeah, we made it happen. And yeah, very cool. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Mark J. Larson. I can't believe we've like burned through over an hour just talking to everybody and to each other. It's been great to get to know you, and I was really looking forward to the show. Thanks for all you do, sharing your trap line and being an ambassador for North American trappers, and yeah,
I
bringing all your
appreciate you
fans
having me
here.
on here. And like I said, you know how to get a hold of me. Reach out anytime. It's just been a great time connecting with you too.
Yeah, I hope that we can catch each other at a convention or something like that. That would be cool. And
Absolutely. You gonna be at the one
someday,
in Indiana this year?
what's
Gonna
that?
Are you gonna be at the NTA in Indiana this year?
Probably not going to be able to go until I'm retired. It's yeah, I'm
I'll
not
be
going to have
working
the
there.
time.
So,
Oh, well, have a great time working there. That'll be awesome. You'll meet a lot of people.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I got to save my time for family, and I got to, pick some of the closer conventions. I might try to get to Neil Olson's, and I was at the PA convention last year, and that was really fun. I camped out there, so I might do that again. And of course, New York State Trapping Convention's a good one too. So
absolutely.
try to do those. But I wish you good luck getting that girl beaver.
You might be the first. Well, you might be the second to know. I'll be the
All
first
right.
one.
All right. I'll hold you to that. That's cool. Yeah. Let me
Uh,
know. And everybody out there, good luck and be safe, and watch for another live episode coming up. And let's have a great finish off to the spring trapping season, and then we'll talk about conventions and get ready for the next year. And good luck selling your fur if you are selling. So have a good night, Mark. Thanks so much.
Take care,
Hey,
everyone.
everybody.
Thanks for
Remember,
having me again.
trappers snore. Sustainable, natural, organic, and renewable resource. And Mark, just hang out. Don't disconnect yet because your video feed has to catch up to us.
Okay.
All right. Bye bye, everybody.
Night, everyone.